Hi, I'm an old guy and I do maths, and today we're looking at a thing called a secant and trying to figure out what that is. Um, let's start with a circle. Now, this should come as no surprise. That is a diameter. That is a radius. That is a chord. So chord, diameter, radius. Now, those of you who are a little further advanced in geometry or trigonometry will recognize this line as a tangent, if I can spell it. There we are. Now, a secant is one of these. It's kind of a cross between a chord and a tangent in terms of what it looks like. So this is a secant, and it's often abbreviated to SEC. And what it does is it runs from point to point on a circle like a chord, but like a tangent, it has an existence outside of the circle. So basically it's a line that runs through the circle like this, from outside the circle on one side to outside the circle on another side, and it must pass inside the circle. If it does not, it's either just a straight line out here or it's a tangent. Okay, so that's what one looks like. Now, there are a couple of other things to discuss when it comes to secants. In fact, there are a few other things to discuss, but the only thing that we're going to look at for the rest of this video is what a secant is in terms of trigonometry. And I've got a little bit of space down here, so I'll write it out. A secant has a trig ratio, just like a tangent or a cosine or a sine. And that is as follows: hypotenuse over adjacent. Now, those of you who've done a bit of trigonometry will recognize that this is a cosine ratio upside down. Indeed it is. And so a secant is also equal to 1 over a cosine, the inverse of a cosine, or cos -1. Not necessarily to be confused with a button on your calculator that might say that, but it is the inverse of a cosine. Now, where does this come into play? Well, principally it comes into play, I suppose we first see it in mathematics, maybe in calculus. I'm not going to spoil any surprises here, I hope, but the differential of a tangent is a secant squared, and there's quite a bit of there's a fair bit of mathematics behind that, and that may well be the subject of a further video. But for the moment, the thing to recognize is that a secant is this thing here. It has some characteristics similar to a tangent in that it is also a trig ratio, and that trig ratio is hypotenuse over adjacent, which is the inverse of a cosine. There is also an inverse of a sine and an inverse of a tangent, but we'll come to those. We'll come to those another day. Okay, so thank you for watching. I hope that this was useful. If it was, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.